Thank you very much. Also here with us, the chairman. Please, the room is noisy. Can we bring down the voices, please? Can we bring down the voices, please? Thank you. Thank you. Please, we are still gisting here. Can we keep one room, please? Thank you. Let me welcome with respect the chairman of NDDC Governing Board, Mr. Chidu Ebie. I welcome you, sir. Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome here the managing director of NDDC, Chief Samuel Ogbuku, PhD. I welcome you, sir. Thank you very much. Also here, I'd like to welcome the executive directors of NDDC, Alabo Honorable Boma Iyaye, Esquire, Executive Director of Finance and Administration, you're welcome. Executive Director of Projects, Honorable Victor Antai, is here with us, so welcome you. Honorable Ifedayo Abegude, Executive Director of Corporate Services. And also members of the board, the NDDC members of the board, from Abia State, Chief Enuba Dingba, from Akwa Ibom, Apostle Abasa Dikan R. Unkono, from Bayelsa State, Senator Dimaru Demyabufa, from Cross River, Honorable Orok Otu Duke, JP, from Delta State, Right Honorable Monday Buya, from Edo State, Honorable Patrick Aisoweren, from Imo State, Chidebere K. Uchebu, from Ondo State, Honorable Otito T. Atikase, and from River State, Chief Tony Okocha. And also here, let me welcome Honorable Nick Wende, North Central, Honorable Dr. Abdurazak Sad Namdas, Northeast, and Senator Dr. Ibrahim A. Guber, MFRCON, Northwest. The National Assembly members that are here, I'd like to welcome all of you. Honorable Jafaru Leko, Deputy Chair, House Committee on NDDC is here with us. Honorable Victor Abang, Honorable Ayodeji Alauakala, Honorable Isa Anka, Honorable Kelechi Nwogu, all from the National Assembly. Let me welcome all of you, our royal fathers that are here, stakeholders in Niger Delta. I welcome all of you. The Olorogun Barrister Ese Gam-Owe, President General Urobo Progress Union worldwide, is here with us. Let me welcome all of you, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with pleasure that I welcome all of you to this technical session of the 2024 NDDC Stakeholder Summit. If you like, you can call this the pre-event that will highlight the main issues that will drive the operations of NDDC in the desire to align with Mr. President's hope, a renewed hope agenda. We are at a time that NDDC is rewinding for rebirth, re-energizing its operations for sustainable development. So today we shall be taking issues around economic development, I'd like to welcome also here Chief Dr. Dennis Oyaro, Presidential Amnesty Coordinator, who is here with us. And so the technical section will cover areas of economic development, human capital development, infrastructural development, environmental development, security and finance. In the last 23 years of its establishment, NDDC had been the vanguard of making the Niger Delta region the envy of other regions. So no longer is it suffering in the face of fortune, resource calls have been turned into blessing. Now awesome to behold, surrounded by forests and virgin creatures, dishing out involuntary gas and oil, the seas yielding unrestrained wealth. I'd like to welcome all of you here. My name is Ebere Young, and I will not be alone to handle this event. Seleme, daughter of the soil, lover of Niger Delta, delectable, elegant, is also here.
Good morning, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome to this very all-important summit. This will be a summit that will be escalating the need, the desire for conversations, and of course, intentional consultations to identify the basic needs of the Niger Delta people. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we at this point have the singular honor and privilege to introduce and welcome, while we invite and put our hands together, the MDCO of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Dr. Chief Samuel Oboko, to give his welcome address.
He's not doing the welcome address, he's the chairman.
Oh, sorry. I beg your pardon, not the MDCO. It is the chairman, I beg your pardon. Please forgive me. Please may we invite, with all respect, the chairman of the NDDC Governing Board, Mr. Chiedu Ebie, to give the welcome address.
The chairman of today's occasion, Governor of Imo State, His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodimma, who also doubles as the chairman of the recently activated advisory committee of the Niger Delta Development Commission, very eminently represented by the Deputy Governor of Imo State. Members of the National Assembly, led by the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on NDDC, Honorable Jafar Uleko, the representative of our keynote speaker, the National Security Advisor, our Lords, temporal and spiritual, my colleagues on the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, our very dear and invited participants to this summit, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with great joy that I welcome you all to the technical session of the Niger Delta Stakeholders Summit 2024, themed Renewed Hope for Sustainable Development of the Niger Delta region. This summit serves as a pivotal platform for key stakeholders to jointly harness our rich, diverse, and creative viewpoints on strategies for the economic growth and development of our region. We gather not in isolation, but on a solid foundation built upon the vision articulated by Mr. President, who has identified 8 priority areas integral to our regional development, which are critical levers for sustainable growth. Our collective duty as regional stakeholders and Nigerians is to ensure that the outcomes of our strategic engagement align with these priority areas. Today, we will also reflect on the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President and translate it into actionable plans for the sustainable development of the region. The timing of this summit could not be more opportune. The Niger Delta must take control of its destiny. We are well on our way to achieving this. After years of agitation, we have secured significant rights and resources, which include the 13% derivation, the creation of the Niger Delta Development Commission, the Presidential Amnesty Program, and the establishment of community development funds under the Petroleum Industry Act, amongst others. These rights are designed to ensure that the people of the Niger Delta enjoy the full benefits of the resources allocated to our region. However, to fully capitalize on these benefits, we must create a conducive environment for investments. It is up to us, the indigents of the Niger Delta region, to ensure that our dear region is seen as a location ready for development. No other part of the country can do this on our behalf. This summit is an excellent opportunity for us to come together, agree on concrete plans, and ensure that the Niger Delta is prepared for prosperity. By uniting in purpose, we can make our region a peaceful haven for business. A sane and peaceful environment is the only foundation, and I repeat, it's the only foundation upon which true sustainable development can be built. Our primary objective today is therefore to devise methods and implementation plans that are measurable and sustainable. The current board was inaugurated on the 16th of November last year. To solidify our mandate, the board and management of the commission held a retreat in Ikotec Pene very early this year. During the retreat, we seamlessly integrated the Renewed Hope agenda into a comprehensive development plan. The deliberations from this retreat have already begun to be implemented with unwavering focus and determination. A cornerstone of our strategy is to conduct regular stakeholder engagements. These engagements are designed to enhance communication and provide a platform for meaningful and robust interaction on issues critical to optimizing our performance. By fostering open dialogue with stakeholders, we aim to ensure transparency, gather valuable feedback, and address any concerns promptly. This approach is essential in driving our mission forward and achieving our long-term goals. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this timely and collaborative summit will help us achieve our joint objectives of a stronger, more stable region where the development gains we realize will be concrete and sustainable. I am full of hope that this interaction will reshape opinions and dispositions. Led by our cerebral and forward-thinking Managing Director, Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, our management team is here to provide insights and clarifications where necessary. We implore all contributors to make concise and constructive submission that will guide our discourse. I urge everyone to ensure this summit is free of disruptive behavior, unpleasant commentaries, and unfounded speculations. Our vision is to transform the Niger Delta into a region of peace and progress, where community-driven security initiatives pave the way for sustainable development. Together with the active participation and support of our stakeholders, we can achieve a bright future for the Niger Delta, marked by enduring prosperity and security. In conclusion, I want to express our deep gratitude for the political will provided by Mr. President, which has significantly advanced the Commission's work and impacted the Niger Delta region. We also acknowledge the collaborative role of the National Assembly, led by the President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, and supported by our respective committees of both chambers of the National Assembly. The advisory committee, comprising the state governors, has been activated, and we eagerly anticipate working with them. Lastly, our distinguished participants and royal fathers and indigents of the Niger Delta, we are truly grateful for honoring our invitation. We look forward to your contributions, robust interactions, and ultimately your understanding and cooperation as we work together to build and develop the Niger Delta of our dreams. I thank you all for your attention, and I welcome you to the technical session of the 2024 Niger Delta Stakeholders Summit. Thank you.
Is it possible to appreciate him one more time? Thank you very much. Thank you. I also like to welcome here the Executive Chairman and General Coordinator of the Association of Niger Delta Monarchs of Nigeria, His Royal Majesty King Captain F.N. Okurako Ode II, JP, PhD. Our Royal Majesty, I welcome you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to speak to us is a man that superintends over a state that is blessed with abundant natural resources such as crude oil, natural gas, lead, zinc, limestone, and fine sand. Imo State is ready for business. It has continued to do the 3R of reconciliation, recovery, and rehabilitation. His Excellency, the chairman of today's event, is the governor of Imo State and chairman NDDC Advisory Committee and chairman of education. Represented here by a woman that exemplifies the finest qualities of a lawyer: communication skills, analytical research, integrity, honesty, and passion. I'd like to welcome here the Deputy Governor of Imo State, Barrister Mrs. Chinyere Ekomaru.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to stand on the already established protocol. I'm standing in for His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, who is the chairman of the occasion and the chairman advisory committee of the NDDC. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Today, we're attending a stakeholders meeting. Stakeholders are very important in the project of NDDC. They offer perspective of needs in areas and in communities so that the programs are sustainable. The Niger Delta region is rich in resources, but its people have long been plagued with poverty, pollution, and neglect. Sustainability is key to ensuring that projects in this region truly benefit the communities they serve. We must prioritize environmental sustainability, social responsibility, and economic viability in all our projects. This means investing in renewable energy, protecting natural habitats, and supporting local businesses. Let us all work together to create a brighter future for the Niger Delta, where development and sustainability go hand in hand. So as we deliberate today at this stakeholders meeting, may God continue to guide and protect us in all the decisions we share and discuss today. Thank you very much.
The Deputy Governor of Imo State, a lawyer that understands the issues and absolutely passionate about the Niger Delta. We thank you so very much. What we're doing now will be a set of goodwill messages, but let me first and foremost recognize here an amazing woman, Miss Ankil Briggs, environmentalist, human rights activist. She has a voice that touches nationwide. I welcome you very especially, Ms. Ankil Briggs. Thank you very much. And thank you for your decades, and I'm adding S to the decades, work in the area of human rights activism. Thank you very much. We would like to have quickly the list for the Google messages. Very quickly. Sarah, over to you. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to deliver a goodwill message, we respectfully invite the Presidential Amnesty Coordinator, High Chief Dennis Otaro.
Good morning, Your Excellency. Good morning, my MD and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Dennis Otaro, Administrator, Presidential Amnesty Program. I want to thank the management of NDDC for this stakeholders meeting, because stakeholder engagement is a very critical part in the design for projects. You know, like me, I'm a product of the NDDC. I left here from here, reassigned to the Amnesty Program. And I know that this new management, they know the critical role of peace and stability. And when we are talking about peace and stability, is the stakeholders, our members, the youth, the Ankyo bricks, our INES there, Igbe there. These are the people. And over the years, many of these stakeholders were really alienated from the activities of this agency. And people don't even really know what was happening. The stakeholder engagement is what is expected for over the years. Because that is why, for the past 2 weeks ago, the Amnesty Office, we had our own stakeholder engagement, where we reassured everybody about the renewed hope of Mr. President, and that Mr. President has that political will to support the development of the Niger Delta. And we know that the President will not disappoint us, but we as the community, the stakeholders, we have a role to play, because this peace we are talking is for us first, before we talk about even the oil. And when there is no peace in our villages, some of us who cannot even go to our villages. Some of us, some of our kings, they don't go to their villages. They are in the cities. It's not because of their own making, but it's because there is no peace in their terrain. And today, when we have this opportunity like this, all of us, we should grab it with both hands and encourage the management of the NDDC to continue with this stakeholder engagement. When we encourage them, even projects in our areas, they will seek our opinion. They will seek our opinion, and they will know that these are the immediate things that the communities they need. I know that the terrain in the NDDC states, they are different, but my only appeal today is those projects that are going to the riverine areas. The NDDC board, when I was there, I was making that advocacy. They should take critical look at the designs, because the designs and the contracting model, you cannot compare the way you do contracts in those rural communities and those in the uplands. So that is one area in this stakeholder engagement I want us to critically look at. And I would like to greet everybody for today and enjoy your engagements. Let it be peaceful, and we should not use foul languages. We know that there is some desperation in the land, but this is a new dawn for Niger Delta under the new NDDC management. Thank you.
The man I just spoke understands the intricacies of what administration of the Niger Delta is all about. He is the administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Program. Chief Dennis Brutu Otuaro, PhD, we appreciate you. And let me also say that Her Excellency Barrister Mrs. Chinyere Ekomaro is also PhD. Thank you very much for coming one more time. Let me recognize here, because part of the stakeholders for the Niger Delta are the youths of the region that are part of the drive to bring sustainable development to the Niger Delta. The President of Joint Youth Council worldwide, Sir Jonathan Lupobo Senior, is here with us, and I'd like to invite him to the microphone to tell us that the teeming millions of youths of the Niger Delta are part of the drive and vanguard and soldiers that will bring sustainable development to the Niger Delta. I welcome you.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Imo State, the National Security Advisor being represented by our dear sister, the Chairman of the NDDC Board, the Managing Director and the entire management of the Niger Delta Development Commission. My traditional rulers, our royal fathers, our mothers, our youths, I welcome you all on behalf of the youths of the Niger Delta. Today we are standing before history because the Niger Delta Commission, under the present leadership represented by youth, have decided that Niger Deltans become a part of the solution to the issues we are dealing with over the past. There's no gainsaying that the problems of the Niger Delta are enormous, and the Commission in itself alone cannot have a grasp of all of this together without interacting with stakeholders. And this is the purpose why we have gathered here today. My appeal to us as youth is that it's a rare opportunity we are all having. Let us use this opportunity to articulate our position, to deal with key issues that are common challenges to all of us. Today, we are dealing with one of the worst crises in terms of road infrastructure in the Niger Delta. The east-west road has completely become impassable. It is gatherings like this that we can bring our common challenges to the fore. It is our appeal that the government under President Tinubu, working with our brothers who are leaders from this region, show that urgent, genuine commitment towards rehabilitating that road. It is my appeal to the Honorable Minister of Works that let this road, which defines all of us as a region, become part of his priority in terms of fixing that road. We don't want to go the usual way in agitating for simple things that citizens should ordinarily benefit. It is an appeal. Niger Deltans have shown enormous concern and support for the government of this nation today. It is also my appeal that similar interactions of stakeholders be a regular thing for the board of NDDC. For those who are holding key offices within the Niger Delta and those who are also representing us in Abuja, please, Niger Delta is the home you have. Contribute to the growth and development of our region. May God bless all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a goodwill message on behalf of the youth of the Niger Delta. And now to give her own goodwill message on behalf of the Niger Delta women, may I respectfully invite a human rights activist, an environmentalist, and cure breaks.
Am I too short? Good afternoon, everyone. May I please stand on existing protocol, but may I take the privilege of specifically mentioning the MD of the Niger Delta Development Commission. As a woman, as a mother in the Niger Delta region, anyone, female or male, that is under my age, I lovingly address as my sons or my daughters, and I see the MD of the NDDC as such. And I do say that the women of the Niger Delta region have contributed a lot to the development, the growth, or lack of participation by women within this region in the discussion of development has been very obvious. And you have encouraged us, MD, since you came on board, you and your board, you have encouraged us and you have given us the space twice to interact with you as your sisters, as your mothers, as your people, the women of the Niger Delta region, to participate with you to bring this about, the summit. I want to also take this opportunity to highlight the fact that we do have other Niger Delta representations at the national level and at other regional level in the Niger Delta region. And I will call upon them to take a cue from you as well and have this stakeholders interaction within the space that they are covering, whether it is at the national level or at the regional level. The NDDC specifically is an agency. It is an intervention agency, actually. A lot of people mistake it for a developmental agency because of the confusion of the name. It is not a developmental agency. It is an intervention agency. And therefore, the fact that we have sons and daughters at different levels of national discourse, I think that they should take a cue from you, starting with the petroleum area, the gas area, to have interaction with the people of the Niger Delta because they are in those positions, because they are from the Niger Delta region. Now, moving forward, the NDDC was created not outside of the space of the Niger Delta because President Obasanjo was in love with the Niger Delta region or her people. It was actually because of agitation of the people of the Niger Delta, a lot of whom are here, and some that have died in that process that brought about the NDDC. And so the NDDC itself is not a gift. The Ministry of Niger Delta is not a gift. The amnesty program is not a gift. Most of these agencies have benefited the creators and the creation of these agencies to quell the Niger Delta, which I always say means that it's somehow a deception that if you calm the situation down by creating this or that, then it will give the NDDs, the Niger Delta region, a picture of calmness or of peace that is really not quite true. So moving forward in interacting with the people of the Niger Delta region, I want to make it clear that the women of the Niger Delta region will no longer and should no longer be ignored in the process of discussing the development. We have women from the communities, from fisher women. We have capacity for women to fish. We also have capacity for women that will be governors in the Niger Delta. We have capacity for women that will be presidents of Nigeria in the future. We have that type of capacity in the Niger Delta region, and it should not be ignored. MD, I congratulate you and your board. I thank you also because you actually have persevered. It could not have been easy in the climate of Nigeria that we have, going from representation at the local level all the way up to the Senate, where things like this will be discouraged and obstacles will be put in the ways of these things happening, where the people of the Niger Delta actually are not given a voice but are allowed to exercise and express those voices. And I want to say to you that women in the Niger Delta today will and have been in the past and will continue moving forward to be part of the discussion of the development, the growth of the Niger Delta region. Thank you very much.
She is ageless, her voice timeless. The issues she raised are beyond this time. Let's appreciate this amazing human rights activist. We thank you very much. Also here with us, I'd like to welcome here Chief Masrinius Ilemigbo Makon, former chairman of APC in Imo State. We welcome you. Thank you very much. One of the group of people that ensures the delivery of some of the projects of NDDC are the indigenous contractors. The Niger Delta indigenous contractors are here, and I'd like to welcome here Chief Dressman Darlington to deliver a goodwill message on their behalf. Chief Dressman Darlington, 2 minutes. Is he here? All right. Please, let's clear the path for him. Already, your 2 minutes is remaining 1 minute as you step forward here.
Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Imo State, honorable members of the Federal House of Reps here present, our chairman, the MD, NDDC, dear esteemed stakeholders, on behalf of the Niger Delta Indigenous Contractors Association and the Contractors Association of NDDC, we extend our heartfelt congratulations and best wishes to all participants in this stakeholder summit. The summit presents a significant opportunity for us to come together as stakeholders in the development of the Niger Delta region. We are committed to fostering collaboration, dialogue, and progress that will benefit the people and the environment of the Niger Delta. As indigenous contractors, we understand the importance of sustainable development and the need for inclusive participation in shaping the future of our region. We are dedicated to contributing our expertise, insights, and resources towards the advancement of the Niger Delta region. We believe that through open and constructive dialogue, we can address the challenges facing the region and work towards actionable solutions that will have a lasting and positive impact. Our collective efforts and commitment to excellence will be instrumental in driving progress and prosperity in the Niger Delta region. We express our gratitude to the MD CEO, Chief Samuel Ubuku, and the entire board and management of NDDC for putting this summit together. We equally commend all participants and supporters of the Niger Delta Stakeholders Summit for their unwavering dedication to the betterment of our region. Together, we can create a brighter future for the Niger Delta people. We look forward to engaging in meaningful discussions, sharing our perspectives, and collaborating with all stakeholders to achieve our common goal. May this summit be a catalyst for unity, progress, and transformative change in the Niger Delta. Warm regards and have a nice day.
thank you very much. While we're still sticking to the stringent rule of 2 minutes for goodwill messages, may I respectfully invite to give a goodwill message Chief Professor Jasper F. Jumbo, National Chairman, Founding Fathers of the defunct UNPADEC and NDDC.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Imo State, who is ably representing my good friend, the Governor of Imo State, the representative of my former guardian, the National Security Advisor, the Chairman of the Board of NDDC, the first son of Niger Delta, the Managing Director of NDDC, the wonderful executive directors who are working with him, the management of NDDC, my colleagues, the founding fathers of the defunct UNPADEC and NDDC, those who are like teachers, nurturing young with ruler. I have some of them here. Professor Jetson aside, Dr. Elanya, they just mentioned Makun Ndemibo, the only Igbo man that brought 30,000 I gave to my late wife when we were with Okilo. His Excellency Okilo, Senator Fred Bule, and all that. But I'd like to underscore one very important point before I make some key points, and I want the representative of the National Security Advisor to listen carefully. The NDDC and UNPADEC, they were set up as a covert government arrangement. I was mandated officially by the various CNCs to do the covert research. I wrote the blueprints and I say it openly. The then National Security Advisor, Joali Eguzo, he was first the coordinator of national security, boss to Chief A.K. Hosford. That was how we worked to get these things in place. They helped our people. We are going to help our people again. And when I'm saying it with no apologies. I'm saying it as a father in the region. You don't expect these gentlemen we brought to run NDDC to run it with their heads. No, no. As of today, I remember clearly at the UNPADEC guest house, 21 Hele Selesi Street at Asokoro, when we brought 15 thematic provisions to the funding provision of the NDDC Act. President Obasanjo then shouted, Ishazu, that's what he used to call me, head of fish. You want to take all Nigeria and go give your people? He cut it down to 8. It was then Director of Finance of the UNPADEC that we brought, we now tinkered it to get the 8 provisions. But the federal government is owing them, as from the critical intelligence available to us as founding fathers and co-weighted stakeholders in this thing. It's about investment. No government gave us 1 kobo. It's about intellectual franchise or patent. Yes, that's the truth. So many people are doing this. They have to understand this. We're not begging anybody. We have come to these stakeholders to make a point known to everybody. Why should the federal government be owing them more than 2 trillion naira out of the statutory allocations to them? Tell the National Security Advisor that a former PA to General Ali Guzo, who worked with him to set up this exchange, you should tell the president, if they are borrowing money to execute projects in Nigeria, they should borrow money and pay back to the NDDC. They are sending 2 trillion naira. We are saying it. The youth, don't you agree? We're not begging. If they want peace, it's good that our brother, a junior brother, who's in PAP is here. Tell them that this is our position. They should go and get this money and give them the 2 trillion naira. Let me see how Sam Obuku, whose father, Rex Obuku, worked with us when he was working under Okilo, will have the money and he won't pay the contractors. I will have the money and he will give it to the youth. We'll go and wait for him at the junction. Just not be so. Second, my friend, wait. This is the main stakeholders thing. So I want the people who will take it. You take it and you tell my friend Hope Uzodinma, Senator Hope Uzodinma, I said so. He was only in the seat here with us in Port Harcourt before he went to the Senate. Tell him I said so. He knows me very well. Let him tell them. Let him tell the president that is the position of the fathers of the region. Secondly, the Northeast Development Commission is getting 3% of VAT. I can't see why the NDDC shouldn't be getting, similar 3% VAT. Tell them that we are demanding that as of right, as part of the funding provisions of the NDDC, they should give them 3% VAT. Please note it down and make it, if you want me, I'll write him. But this is our position. This supersedes any other thing that they're doing here, the palliatives. This is the main thrust. Let them have the money and let us see why they can't give us legacy projects. Because we have full confidence in this board. Apart from when Tuyan Aube was here, this is the best board we have had. And anybody who knows me in this region know that I'm not saying it to praise them. If they're not doing well, I'll tell them to their faces. They're all my juniors by age. Forget about that, I'm looking like Bobo. Having said so, please fund them effectively. The wealth with which we are bolstering the mode and modalities of the average Nigerian, setting up all the things we are setting up in Abuja, in Lagos and elsewhere, is derived from our backyard. By the way, I come from Bonny, where you have the highest oil terminal. LNG is on my family land. So I'm talking authoritatively as an owner. And many of them are owners. So go and tell them that the owners and co-developers, stakeholders in this nation, we are demanding as of right. We are all part and parcel of the renewed hope agenda. I'm mobilized from Mr. President. I'm mobilized from His Excellency Ababio, even during the convention. I'm the acting national chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee. We didn't do it that we want anything. No, we did it because we believe in the renewed hope agenda. And the renewed hope agenda will translate to dividends of democracy when they get this money and give to the NDDC. May everybody be blessed in Jesus' name.
If you're a warrior no matter your age. The man has agitation, but age is still on his side. Professor, we thank you very much. We appreciate you. Also here, let me quickly welcome His Royal Majesty Sir Dr. King Samuel Ele Nwe, the Coordinator Supreme Council of Ogoni Traditional Rulers that is here with us. And let me also quickly welcome Right Honorable Ima Deya, the President General Kagote. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, very quickly for another 2 minutes, I'd like to welcome here the Chairman, National Chairman of PANDEF, Pan Niger Delta Development Forum, distinguished Senator Emmanuel Ibo Essen, fellow Nigeria Society of Engineers. The National Chairman of PANDEF, I welcome you, sir. 2 minutes, sir, if you can help us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. My time starts now. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Imo State, representing my good friend, Senator Hope Uzodimma, and my colleague, the National Security Advisor represented, the Chairman NDDC, the MD of NDDC and other board members and management, the interim administrator of presidential amnesty, and all stakeholders. First and foremost, I bring greetings from our father and leader of PANDEF, Senator Chief Edwin Clark, who is unavoidably absent because of his travel for a medical checkup. He sends his greetings to all of you. We want to congratulate the board and the management of NDDC for this stakeholders meeting. We've had a couple of interactions with the current board, with the current MD of NDDC, and we have seen his direction and focus. We are very happy to be part of this stakeholders forum today. NDDC is an agency that is supposed to intervene in the progress and development of the Niger Delta region. Incidentally, I was the Deputy Chief Whip in the Senate at the time we enacted the NDDC law. Incidentally also, when President Obasanjo refused to sign that bill into law, we from the Niger Delta region pleaded with our colleagues to override that veto. And incidentally, I led the walkout in the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria before our colleagues came to plead with us to agree to override that veto. I want to say that the ideals of that bill, of that law, has not been achieved. Partly because of underfunding, and partly because of management issues. That's why I want to thank the present board and management in what they are doing to redeem that deficiency. And I want to join the traditional ruler to plead with Mr. President to release all the outstanding money for NDDC, which is over 2 trillion. You cannot set up an agency and you don't fund it and expect it to do what it's supposed to do. There are a lot of issues in the Niger Delta region. The regional plan, which the Niger Delta region, the master plan, cannot be implemented. I was part of the master plan designed for this region as the vice chairman of NDDC committee in the Senate at that time. There were supposed to be regional projects for NDDC cutting across all the states of the region, and that has not been achieved because of lack of funds. So I want to join the royal father to plead with Mr. President. We are borrowing money to do other things. Even if it's to borrow and refund the money to NDDC, we should borrow so that NDDC can achieve its core mandate. I also want to say at this stakeholders meeting that there's need to review that NDDC Act. There are other sources of money that has to be brought into the Act to enrich the purse of the NDDC. Also, the single treasury account should not apply to NDDC. They should have their money so that they can do their project. The single treasury account does not help NDDC to achieve its aim. I want to, during the breakout sessions, we will give our further suggestions on the way to improve NDDC. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. And to give his goodwill message, may I respectfully invite the National Secretary, Traditional Rulers of Oil-Producing Communities, His Royal Majesty Eze Emmanuel UN Aso Udozi Obodo II of Asa Kingdom, Ohaji in Imo State. The National Secretary, Traditional Rulers of Oil-Producing Communities.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Imo State, ably represented by our dear Deputy Governor, Dr. Mrs. Chinyere, or Lady Mrs. Chinyere Ekamaro, the Chairman, Niger Delta Development Commission, the Managing Director and Chief Executive of Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, the board members and management of Niger Delta Development Commission, the monarchs and my royal colleagues, the youths, and other major stakeholders of the region. May I use this opportunity to commend the NDDC for bringing up this idea of meeting together, sharing ideas on how to develop this community, because the development of this community is a priority. Should be given serious and priority attention. This is a region that produces over 70% to the contributes over 70% to the national economy. So NDDC, as a board and management, should please move into the master plan. Go back to that master plan. I'm here as a royal father and also a part of the NDDC family. We came in here as a board. We designed the master plan. And along the line, this master plan is being jettisoned. Nobody makes reference to it. If we look into it, if we go through it and put it strictly in use, there is no part of this region that we talk of underdevelopment. The NDDC board should not be seen as a political issue where any government that comes in, dissolves the board. NDDC board should be seen as a statutory body. They are there for development because NDDC is an interventionist agency. The president should see that they will no longer tamper with this board till they complete their tenure. We should also look into abandoned projects. I left the commission 2009, and all the projects we embarked on that time, we are all abandoned. And some of them were removed from the budget. No more, those that are there are no longer, have no budgetary provisions. So please, the management should look into this. All the regional projects should not be abandoned. We should move back to them and get our region developed. I thank you for the opportunity you have given us. The monarchs who are here and who are in this region are the major beneficiaries of these projects. You should always consult the monarchs. The Trumcon are the people that are solely beneficiaries of our projects. We are royal fathers from the region, and we should be consulted in anything you do in our region to see that we give you the feelings of our people. And when we do that and you move into it, I don't think these youths will go to the streets. Our youths are trying, they are enduring so much. Because when you visit Abuja and other areas of the nation and come to an area and will not have anywhere to say, NDDC has tried or the federal government has tried, you'll be annoyed. And you move in. And when you move in, you say royal fathers requested them to go out to streets. So I would also advise the federal government to release, somebody has mentioned areas of debt owed to the NDDC. I know that even from the first board till now, the federal government is still owing NDDC. You cannot embark on any project without money. Without funds, you cannot. The MD or the chairman will not use their blood to develop this place. And everybody is on them. Everybody is on the board. Everybody is, NDDC is not doing anything. They are eating our money. You cannot eat money you have not seen. And you cannot eat money raw. You must embark on projects. So we are saying, federal government should see that, one, they release areas of funds for NDDC. Two, they should see NDDC as a statutory board and not dissolve them anyhow. Wake up in the morning, you say they are going. And they should cease to consume what do you call it? Caretaker. No more caretaker, no more interim. These things should be stopped. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Royal Majesty. Thank you very much. And also, finally, for the goodwill messages, let me welcome here a man that is from Bauchi State, but is deeply in love with the Niger Delta. He's representing the good people of Bogoro, Das, and Tafa Balewa Federal Constituency in Bauchi State. He's also the deputy chair of the House Committee on NDDC. Please welcome here Honorable Jafaru Gambo Leko.
Thank you. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Imo State, heavily represented by Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor. They said behind any successful governor, there must be a woman. And that is why the Governor of Progressive Governors is successful. You are welcome, ma. The Chairman of Government Board of the NDDC, the Managing Director and his team, the representative of the National Security Advisor, our royal fathers here, other highly respected, distinguished stakeholders that are here. You are all welcome. I'm standing in here to give a goodwill message of the leadership of the National Assembly under the leadership of His Excellency Dr. Tajuddin Abbas and my chairman of the Committee on NDDC, Right Honorable Tache Suenu Ibori. I think for me, this very important summit is timely. Just yesterday, the board management of NDDC appeared before the committee, and those who were there have seen the level of collaboration we have. Because I have been watching, it has never been like this. When I was about to come in yesterday, my chairman asked me to stay back so that we work on the budget. But I said, I want to be here. And my coming here is deliberate. It's for me to be able to get a feedback because I have listened to so many speakers. Before now, the budget of NDDC has never seen light of the day. But I want to assure you, with the collaboration that is happening both here with the stakeholders and the National Assembly, I want to assure you we will do all what it takes to ensure that this budget is passed and within very necessary good time. Because this collaboration of this new board is not just with the stakeholders, we also have that very good collaboration with the National Assembly. And I must have to commend Mr. President for choosing these very, very passionate people to lead the NDDC. I think listening carefully, I have jotted down very, very important issues. But I also want to point, very importantly, why years back the budget of NDDC is not seeing light of the day is because they are eating the money raw. But this present management are not eating the money raw. They are performing because they have executed and we witness number of projects. So therefore, we are committed because the management and board are committed. We will continue to ensure that the National Assembly will continue to inject money. And as I promised, within the shortest possible time, God willing, we are passing this budget. I also want to congratulate the board for the number of projects the commission recently. And whenever my chairman is very busy, because I have passion for this region, I always make myself available to attend. Because when the Niger Delta is not healthy, Nigeria is not healthy. So we want Niger Delta to continue to be healthy so that Nigeria will continue to be healthy. So I want to thank you for this opportunity, and may Niger Delta Development Commission, I wish you long life. I wish the management long life, and long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
You know, he carries his family history with humility. That's the grandson of the legendary Tafawa Balewa. Amazing. But he carries his legacy and the family history with humility. Thank you very much. And while he was speaking, our distinguished senators walked in. I'd like to welcome here distinguished Senator Williams Eteng Jonah. He's the chairman Senate Committee on Upstream Petroleum Resources. Senator Jimo Ibrahim Folorunshaw is also here with us. Senator Benson Friday Kombowe. Senator Emmanuel M. Udende. Senator Austin O. Akobundo. Senator Joel Onowakpo Thompson. Senator Anthony Ani. Senator Tony Nwoye. Senator Kelvin Chukwu. And Senator Onyeso Allwell. Senator Olajide Ikpe Songba. They are all here. Can we appreciate all the distinguished senators that are here? But to finally wrap up our goodwill this afternoon, let me welcome here distinguished Senator Williams Eteng Jonah. Distinguished Senator, there was a rule of 2 minutes. I don't know if it will affect the right chamber. Thank you very much. I welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning. Our chairman, our MD, our traditional rulers, and all the stakeholders of the NDDC, Your Excellencies, have said good morning. I bring greetings from the Senate President, the President of the Senate, who is from the Niger Delta. And I also give you an information that today, the corpse of one of us, Dr. Joseph Wires, arrived in Nigeria after so many years. And that really delayed us a little bit, but thank God we are here. That's why we came a little late. So that's why I have to at least delay the flight a little for us to receive the cups. But which for us, especially we from Cross River, is a big deal to us because it has been a burden burying the former Senate President, who is also from the South-South, the very first from the South-South. So having said that, I want to also use this opportunity to take a little permission from you to excuse the chairman of the NDDC Committee of the Senate, who is unavoidably absent because at the moment he's on another national assignment with the Senate President. So having said that, I'll say for us, especially we from the Niger Delta, I will say a big thumb up for NDDC, who has made it possible to arrange this event for us to talk and rub minds and look at our faces and talk to ourselves. I would say, well done. Keep it up. They said I have only 1 minute, but I would say from us, from the National Assembly, you have a vote of confidence from us, and I would say also, and use our palace. Those in support of what I've said should say aye, and those against, so you have our support. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, development in the Niger Delta region rests on the foundation of security And so we're happy to delve into one of the high points of this pre-summit technical session. May I have the honor, privilege of introducing and inviting on stage the lead presenter of today, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, National Security Advisor, NSA, ably represented by Mrs. Osaritin Ihuoma Grace.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks to the board and management of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, for organizing this Stakeholder Summit technical section and inviting the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, to make a presentation on security and development of the Niger Delta as a sub-theme of the event, Renewed Hope for Sustainable Development in the Niger Delta. Firstly, let me apologize for the unavoidable absence of my boss, the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, who has authorized that I represent him in this section. My name, you already know, is Osariti Ihuoma Grace. I'm the SA on Energy Security and Niger Delta Affairs. The chairman of this occasion, His Excellency Governor Hope Uzodimma, Executive Governor of Imo State, ably represented by his amiable Deputy Governor, Chairman and the Governing Board of Niger Delta Development Commission, Mr. Chinedu Ebi, the Managing Director of Niger Delta Development Commission, Chief Samuel Obuku, member of the National Assembly present here, dignitaries, our royal fathers, the Joe Youth Council, and our mothers that are also here, gentlemen of the press, please permit me to stand on existing protocol. I present to you the speech of the National Security Advisor. I am very delighted to be here today as a special guest of honor at this all-important summit. The theme of this summit, which is Hope for Sustainable Development in the Niger Delta, could not have been more apt given the effort being made towards the Renewed Hope initiative of the current administration of the President and Commander of Chief of Army Force, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, in the last 1 year. When I, Nuhu Ribadu, was appointed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to the Office of the National Security Advisor, established under Section 132 of the Constitution to provide strategic advice on matters relating to Niger Delta, three things were clear in my mind about the Niger Delta. They are that the Niger Delta must be clearly captured in a more active and determined way as the national security priorities in the vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and his Renewed Hope agenda. That within the President's broader and long-term national security vision, which includes moving internal security from the current posture from kinetic to non-kinetic operation, I will emphasize security from human and economic development point of view to deepen democratic culture in the Niger Delta. In view of the above two central ideas, I am determined to set up for the first time in the Office of the National Security Advisor a security model for the Niger Delta. Although this which can, as stakeholders, take a critical look at a peculiar security challenges of the region in a focused and professional way. Accordingly, my team on Niger Delta, led by my special advisor on energy security and Niger Delta affairs, is currently working closely with the governors of the region and the presidency. They will eventually include all stakeholders of the region, such as community leaders, traditional rulers, women, youth and students, government security agencies, federal government agencies relevant to the region, businesses, civil society, people organization, and media.
We will have a very robust engagement to support the President articulate a comprehensive presidential policy on Niger Delta security. We should expect that when this fully materializes, the President will most likely personally present policy guidance that would define his security management posture for the sustainable development of the Niger Delta under the Renewed Hope agenda. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a clue into the emerging policy direction. To apply an appetizer into the thinking of the President, flowing from my office and the ongoing consultation with governors from the region, the President recognizes that Niger Delta region provides an estimated 75% of Nigerian foreign exchange earning. Also evident that most of Nigerian maritime domain and international coastline outside of Lagos, all of which are within the Gulf of Guinea and are in the coast of Niger Delta, and this region is critical to the development of Nigeria blue economy. The political and the socio-economic progress of Nigeria is therefore heavily tied to the social stability of the Niger Delta. Before 2024, 1.8 million barrels per day production quota was allotted to Nigeria by OPEC. However, only about 1.5 million barrels per day with a shortfall of 600,000 million per day is produced. This is due to socio-economic issues that relate to security, such as crude oil theft, pipeline vandalization, environmentally harmful artisanal refinery, sea piracy, and youth militancy. The President is deeply concerned that the purpose of the federal agency, which we know are supposed to respond to socio-economic issues, stabilize and integrate the region, is not proving successful. It's not proving successful. If we cannot produce an allotted quota, that is why a collaborative policy and intervention framework must be necessary. The drivers of conflict and insecurity in the Niger Delta. The Office of the National Security Advisor is consulting widely, collecting and building a body of knowledge, information, and data that will eventually help the Mr. President prescribe policy and create laws that will address in a more holistic and coordinated way the security and the conflict situation in the Niger Delta so as to enhance sustainable development. The key areas that my office is interested in include the following: policy that responds to your people's cultural and historical sensibilities. Niger Delta is a region of ethnically diverse people. We recognize that you are Republican and independent in your psychological traits. Culturally, leadership among you is symbolic and remains stable only when it reflects a high degree of social consensus. The sense of independence or autonomy and at the same time interdependence reflect in the history and the nature of your past and present internal and external conflict. It can be observed that such conflict is associated with strife for political, cultural, and economic autonomy or independence among your group and institution outside of yourself. Therefore, the failure to understand and respond favorably in the policy of your sensibilities generated a lot of insecurity. All this and more reveal your culturally formed traits, shape your behavior, and inform the nature of current conflict in the region that has affected our collective security as a nation. Your communities and your groups and their expressed view and desire will therefore be key to policy making for peace and social stability. The ecology and the environmental pollution. Niger Delta is the world's 10th largest and African largest deltatic ecosystem. It is ecologically highly diverse, complex, sensitive, and logically challenging. Your people are braved, survived, and made their homes out of this ecosystem. The oil and gas business and its negative externalities place a lot of pressure on your physical and social ecosystem and the people's livelihood. This has introduced an additional layer to the nature and context for current conflict dynamics. as pollution to air, water, vegetation, and land has implication for health, livelihood, ecosystem sustainability, and future survival. With demonstrable consequence of national security, the President hopes to make a policy for sustainable development that addresses the implication of environmental issue to security as a central theme. The socioeconomic contents to security and conflict. Nigeria centralizes top-down, rent-dependent and patronage-driven political economy, led by and funded on oil and gas industry, has tended to pressure and dislocate traditional economy and livelihood of the rural people of the Niger Delta. This is due to the following: livelihood losses from environmental pollution, migratory labor towards fast a modernization economy of your region, which displaces you in your traditional economy. The constraint placed on you for access, for opportunities and decision-making process, and for effective participation in the oil and gas economy of your communities. Social tension generated by the policies centered around ownership, control, and management of oil and gas by subnational stakeholders, particularly the communities. The nature of the political economy and the socio-economic fallout provide another important layer of conflict and security, with the implication of social stability and national integration that imparts national security. We're also looking at the culture and the value contents to security and conflict. The traditionally welcoming and hospitable communities of the Niger Delta at the onset of oil and gas industry have turned hostile, including aligning with rogue elements at all levels. This proved to be the result of the progressive loss of culture seen in family, communities, and society values that underpin deep ecology and sustainable development. Every form of imaginable corrupt practices and behavior now form part of our social pattern that generate conflict and erode social harmony. Many attribute this to degenerating national leadership, political culture, and inability of the communities to cope and survive under happening changes in a way that preserves traditional value system. Mr. President considered this as critical to rebuilding the most important infrastructure of heart and mind upon which all other development depends. The government response to this. One more important layer of challenge that continues to inform conflict is the response of government to situation in the region. Laws, policies, regulation, behavior, practice, agents charged with development and model employed by these agencies, including values and choice of leadership, have all tended to create systems for patronage, entitlement, and benefit captured rather than the productive and value-creating economy and socio-political system. This confine intended benefit from reaching communities at the bottom of the socio-economic pyramid. Attempts to complain or resist are often responded to with heavy-handed military solution that creates and sustains tension. The government has policy solution. To solve current conflict solution and transition towards a more stable, harmonious, and better national integrated people and communities of the Niger Delta, overarchingly, this will involve implementing development on collaborative partnership, framework for stakeholders, and supported on a clearly defined, spatially well-planned socioeconomic intervention, intelligently led security and policing response, which include the following. 1, pushing a strong kinetic security perspective that increases the risks of perpetrators of oil theft, artisanal refinery, sea piracy, and armed militancy. Pursuing a collaborative partnership with stakeholders for socioeconomic development with national security as focal purpose. Promote reorientation in values, in ideology, support of national harmony and integration. Engage professionals and technically supported incorporated host communities, accompanying as trained and regimented guide for critical assets, supervised by government security agencies under the governor in a long run. Deepening community participation in hydrocarbon business, broadening the base and capacity of policing at sub-national level. Conclusion. Sustainable peace, security, and social stabilities in the Niger Delta region that increasingly move from kinetic engagement to non-kinetic engagement will flow from coordinating the responsibilities of relevant organs of public sector, private sector, development sector, civil society, and media towards clearly articulating and better planned understanding of the nexus between security and development. Accordingly, to achieve optimal outcome of set security priorities and objectives, Mr. President, thinking as a Democrat, for his Renew Hope agenda on Niger Delta security shall derive its legitimacy and credibility from listening to the people, their government, at state and local government level, leadership of community, businesses and civil society, building consensus and creating systems that will address identified limitations. As my office, the National Security Officer, puts this process in place, we hope to get into action, bring all stakeholders to make contribution. Until that is fully in place, kindly be reassured that Niger Delta has assumed a new sense of meaning and priorities in my office. With best luck, we will get there. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Our best regards to Madam Nuhu Ribadu, the National Security Advisor of the Federation. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, earlier while the professor was speaking here, he alluded to the fact that our next speaker is one of the brightest in terms of being the managing director of NDDC. And for me, by putting him on the same pedestal as Chief Timian Laibe, is an amazing compliment. He represents the new face and philosophy of NDDC. He's imbued with new thinking. He conquers new frontiers. He evolves new partnerships. As far as he's concerned, see me and you see the new Niger Delta. Let me welcome here the Managing Director of NDDC, Chief Samuel Ogbuku, PhD.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Imo State, here represented by Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, our special guest of honor, the NSA represented here, our National Assembly members, starting with the distinguished senators and House of Reps members, the Chairman of the Governing Board of NDDC, Executive Directors, members of the Board of NDDC, let me recognize the coordinator of the Amnesty Program, top government functionaries that are here, royal fathers, leaders of ethnic nationalities, women leaders, youth leaders, the press, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to make it clear that this is Niger Delta Stakeholders Summit. It is not an NDDC summit. Just like as our mother Ann Kubrick said, she said NDDC is an interventionist agency and not just a developmental agency. Being an interventionist agency, we thought we have to intervene in the gap of bringing our people together. bringing our people together to discuss the challenges we are facing and also discuss the prospects ahead of us. Hence, this summit was, the theme of the summit was now named Renewed Hope for Sustainable Development in the Niger Delta. The present administration has renewed hope as its mantra. So as the people of Niger Delta, we thought it was also ideal to key in to the renewed hope mantra. And one of the cardinal pillars of this administration is stakeholders engagement. So we in NDDC, we thought being the platform of where we can bring the entire Niger Delta people together to discuss the issues of Niger Delta, educate the people of the Niger Delta on the programs and visions of this administration, we had to provide this platform for the people of the Niger Delta. Providing this platform for the people of the Niger Delta is an opportunity for us to see people ventilate themselves, just like as we heard one of our fathers spoke earlier. And at the end of the day, for us to come together to have a communique that will be the opinion and the stand of the people of the Niger Delta. That is the essence of this summit. At this point, the event today is the technical session. The technical session is actually the most important aspect of this summit, because the technical session will give opportunity to participants to also contribute their voice and their opinion to what will form the communique, while we work towards having the main event on the 12th, which is on Friday, where we're expected to have our former president as chairman of the occasion and the president of the Senate as the chief host of that event, and also all our governors in attendance, our ministers, other public office holders, our National Assembly members, and every leader of thought in the Niger Delta. That same day we have our father, Chief Ike Clark, as the father of the day, and our mother, the First Lady, as the guest of honor, and Mr. President as a special guest of honor. I thought I should use this opportunity to give a little brief of this summit, because this summit, it is to aggregate and also evaluate how far we have gone. It is an opportunity for us to look behind to see if we have made progress or not. But I want to believe that from the standpoint of where we started from agitation to this point, right now the agitation has moved from being on the streets, carrying arms, to intellectual agitation. This, what we are doing here today, forms part of the intellectual agitation, where we have to put our voice together to also request from the government what we think suits the people of the Niger Delta. Having said that, for us in the NDDC, we also believe that we are privileged to serve the people of the Niger Delta, because what we are enjoying today is the sweat of others, some of them still living, some of them dead. We thank them for their courage and their sweat to ensure that the government gives the people of the Niger Delta this palliative of the NDDC. We have the palliative of the amnesty program. We have the palliative of the Ministry of Niger Delta, and the government has given us opportunities. I know the people of the Niger Delta still want more. As much as we are looking for more, it is also very, very important for us to manage what we have judiciously, so that when we ask for more, they will look back and look inside the pot and know that, yes, we are doing well, so they give us more. So for us, as board and management of the Niger Delta Development Commission, we came together we looked behind and we also realized that in the past we have made mistakes, and in those mistakes we have also made progress and success too. So we decided to harness the success that have been made so far, put them together to improve on them, while we're also correcting the mistakes of the past. And one of the gaps we saw as part of the mistakes was issues of policy. The policies you put in place are the policies that will also guarantee the success of every administration. And we decided to come up with the rewind to rebirth policy. The rewind to rebirth policy was to look behind and also see how far we have come, where we are, and what we need to do. Who do we need to consult? Who do we need to bring back into the team to improve on what we want to do? And that policy is the reason why in whatever we do, you see we move along with the previous leadership of the Niger Delta Development Commission. We try to consult our stakeholders, and that is why we're here today. Rewind to rebirth, because we are rebirthing the new NDDC and the renewed NDDC. Now, after the rewind to rebirth, we came to the Triple T policy of transiting from transaction to transformation. We believe it is our responsibility to transform the Niger Delta region. And in transforming the Niger Delta region, we must also put up policies that are transformative, policies that are transparent, because it is only transparency that can guarantee transformation. With that, we came up with the Project Hope in taking care of our youths, because we looked at the past and we realized that our youths, so many opportunities have been given in the past, sponsored by NDDC, but looking at our records, we realize that only few persons have been benefiting. Few persons keep benefiting from the same policies, and these policies were not getting to the right people. And because it was not getting to the right people, people assume that NDDC did nothing in the past. So with the Project Hope, it is an opportunity for youths to register with our Project Hope platform, that we are building a database for youths and the entrepreneurs in the region, so that we can help them, meet them at the areas of their competence. So whatever program we have that we're doing, ranging from IT to agriculture and tailoring and every other skill that we are going to develop, we ensure that these skills are going to meet the people in their areas of competence. Just to let you know, I was discussing with the coordinator of Amnesty, and he told me that they've trained over 10,000 persons that are still redundant. It is very, very possible that these 10,000 persons that are redundant, they are trained in areas where they don't have passion. So we must also learn that when we want to train people, we must train them in areas where they have passion. Hence, in the database, it is being provided that you must also indicate your area of interest. So if we are picking you, it is sure that it is an area where you have passion. Because in the past, you tell the MD to nominate 10 persons. I nominate just friends and family members. These persons, I don't know if they are really interested in what you're telling me to nominate them for. Hence, it will produce no result. But with this, we are sure that we are going to get results. That is part of the transformation that we are bringing into the NDDC. Now, having said that, we are also encouraging youths across the Niger Delta to still take opportunity to register in the Project Hope database. Because going forward, we may not be talking to you if you come to our office. We'll only meet you in the database. That gives opportunity to everybody, whether you are in Akure, whether you are in Owerri, whether you are in Asaba. That means from the database, you can have that opportunity without knowing anybody in the NDDC headquarters. Now we also came up with the commerce and industry, which we had to partner with the Niger Delta Chamber of Commerce. Because in that, we thought there's also the need to support our entrepreneurs in the region. And in supporting the entrepreneurs in the region, how do you identify entrepreneurs? We thought the Niger Delta Chamber of Commerce should be able to register its own entrepreneurs and let us deal with their members. So their members will form the bulk of the entrepreneurs in the region. So with that, We are going to meet entrepreneurs, the genuine ones, not portfolio businessmen, whom, when given money, they assume it is free money. So we are doing that, and we are also going to do that as a tripartite partnership, also bringing the Bank of Industry. So anybody who benefits, you must be qualified to benefit from it so that money is not wasted because money is scarce. So these are the policies we are putting in place in the renewed Niger Delta under transparent process so that everybody that is qualified can have access to benefit. It will not be an idea of who you know. That time, I think, is of the past. And with all that, we are now looking at projects in NDDC. Projects in NDDC, I can assure you, for those who have done projects recently in NDDC, you realize that NDDC is not NDDC of yesterday. I have people who have come to meet me who have said they have issues with our consultants who are inspecting their project, and I can assure you, you cannot beat our system right now, because the system we have put in place are systems that will ensure that it protects the institution and also protect the funds we have. In the past, people have said all sorts of things about NDDC where contracts are substandard and the rest of them. But I challenge you, come back. You will not have that kind of situation again. So all these structures we are putting in place just to ensure that NDDC has a new image and a new name. In the past, even the contract award process of NDDC, you realize that people talk about fake contracts and the rest of them because people used to fake the award letters of NDDC. We have also taken a step further by improving on our award letters to ensure that our award letters have serial numbers and barcodes, and it has a database. So when you bring a fake award, it will never pass through the system. These are all the things we have put in place in NDDC. We are doing all this so that nobody will challenge us with issues of non-performance because we just want to waste government fund. We are doing all this to protect the institution and to ensure that whatever little fund that is given to us is judiciously used for the benefit of the people. And to culminate this, we have decided to engage KPMG to design internal corporate governance system for us. Because one of the major gaps we saw in NDDC was that NDDC was vulnerable because it has no governance structure. So KPMG right now, just 2 weeks ago, they submitted a preliminary report of the governance advisory which they are putting together for NDDC and also developing SOPs. This is going to regulate us internally and also regulate us externally. So people who call from outside to say, NDDC do this, you also look at our SOPs, our governance structure, and you know what is possible and what is not possible. Because funny enough, I sit down in the office, I see people walk from everywhere and come, they bring proposals. This is what we want to do. Ordinarily, you know, organizations do not work that way. For you to bring a proposal, that organization must check if actually it is part of the policies of that organization. But where there is no governance structure, anybody can come to NDDC to say, we want to train widows, we want to train this, we want to train that. But with that, it's going to define and specify. Because, you know, NDDC was actually formed as an interventionist agency without limited role. So the role is open-ended, but it is left for us to also define what we can do and what we cannot do and make it a policy document. That is why we are doing that, so that we can also be internally regulated. So when we go beyond our bounds, you can also challenge us that, look, this is what your rule book says. Why are you doing this? So we are doing all this so that we, as those in the hem, will also be regulated too, so that anybody who comes in as MD of NDDC cannot take advantage of those loopholes to mismanage the place. So we are putting all that together. With the guidance of Mr. President and with the directives of Mr. President of what we should do for the NDDC, we are doing all this so that Mr. President will be seen as the president that has actually come to make the difference in the Niger Delta. Recently, you are aware, we commissioned some legacy projects in the Niger Delta, starting from the Okitipupa transmission station, which give light to about 5 local governments that have been in darkness for the past 15 years. It was a project that was started before we came in. We decided to finish it, and we also commissioned the Ogbe-Anembe Road and the Ibuno Road project with the bridge, which had about 600 meters bridge long. All those projects were projects that were started long ago, but we had to complete them and commission these projects. This is also in line with Mr. President's directive of charging us to complete all abandoned NDDC projects. But I just want to let us understand that the reason why people have not seen us touching some projects, because I know everybody have this in their mind, that NDDC, this project is abandoned in my street, this project is abandoned in my community. Why are you people not doing it? We must understand that there is issue of variation, because you cannot just go and touch a project no matter how rich you are. If even we have all the trillions, we cannot just go and touch some projects and just decide to complete them based on the current price. Some of these projects, as at when they were awarded, dollar is not what it is today. The price of cement is not what it is today. Inflation is taking place, and this project needs variation. And most of these projects were awarded through the budget. And a project that is awarded through the budget, not until you have a new budget that has that project inside for you to now do the variation that will go through BPP and go to Federal Executive Council, you cannot touch those projects. Hence, Mr. President has directed that he is going to complete those projects through us, and it is a charge, and that is why you can see that in the budget of NDDC, there is a portion of borrowing 1 trillion, which is supposed to be tied to those specific projects. So nobody should think that maybe those monies are going to be given to the management of NDDC to spend. The budget has it that those projects are going to, that fund is going to be tied to those specific projects. It is based on the passion of Mr. President, because Mr. President himself is not happy that Niger Delta is where it is today. And he wants to be that hero that will make that difference. That is why he's pushing us. That is why he has also put a minister in place that is also guiding us and giving us those directions. Having said this, NDDC is doing so many things recently. You have also seen our medical outreach, which we did, which was very, very successful. The Operation Light Up the Niger Delta has been very, very successful. It has reduced criminality in most of our communities, and it has also improved commerce in these communities, because most of these communities are not connected to the national grid. Hence, we cannot just keep them in darkness. So we came up with Operation Light Up the Niger Delta. NDDC is also working towards mitigating the imminent cholera that is coming up, because we know that cholera is on its way. We cannot pretend that we are not seeing. So NDDC by Thursday will be commissioning ambulances that will be distributed to the various states in the Niger Delta as part of our support for the cholera that is coming. And NDDC is also procuring cholera vaccines that will be distributed to states too. That is part of our intervention. We don't just want to wait for us to be told. We are only being proactive as a management and as a board, so that our people will know that we are here working for them. So I can tell you that NDDC is working for you. NDDC is working for the people of the Niger Delta. NDDC is willing to partner with the state government in the Niger Delta to ensure that we achieve more. NDDC is not in competition with any state. NDDC is here as a partner for development. And just recently, we had a meeting with the governors of the states of the Niger Delta, first of its kind, for us to have a meeting with our advisory committee. Many boards have actually tried to dodge that because they needed absolute power. But we have realized that absolute power itself does not only corrupt absolutely, but absolute power, sometimes you can also crash. And because we don't want to crash, we need the guidance and advice from our governors, because they are the elected representatives of our people
to represent the various states. We want to work with them. We want to partner with them to ensure that there is success in the Niger Delta. So where we need to put funds together to develop projects in these various states, we are willing to do that. So we are very, very open for partnership. So I'm using this opportunity to tell our state governments, do not misunderstand some of our actions. Where you don't understand, call us, let us discuss. We are not in competition at all. NDDC is also open to partner with even federal agencies. Recently, we are speaking with NSITF for training of youths in the Niger Delta. We're already going into partnership with them, which we have signed that partnership for training. So we are open to various government agencies for partnership, and we are open to even private institutions and corporate bodies that are willing to partner with the NDDC just for the sole purpose of developing the Niger Delta. We are also partnering with the IOCs too. Recently, we are going into partnership with NLNG. We have signed the MOU. We are going into the final stage of picking particular projects which we are going to jointly fund. We have looked at projects like the Bonny Ring Road, which is an NDDC project that has been abandoned because the contractor could not have access to sand. So we are partnering with NLNG to complete that. We are looking at the Ka-Ataba Bridge, which is supposed to be one of our longest bridge projects of about 1.2 kilometers, but 60% done. We are looking at that one. We are looking at the Okrika-Burukiri Road Bridge and Project, which we also want to complete. So we are looking at these signature projects, which the NLNG wants to partner with NDDC to complete. Just like as we completed the Ogbia-Nembe Road, which was a partnership between SPDC and NDDC. Now we are also challenging Chevron that NDDC is ready. Come back to the table. Let us complete the Chevron, the Madino Escravos Road and Bridge project. We are ready to partner with you to do it. We are also saying the federal government should also bring Chevron and NDDC on one table. Let us discuss. So all these NDDC is willing to do. In areas where NDDC has failed, that is the reason why we are here for this summit. It is left for you to advise us. It is left for you to tell us what to do to make your situation better. It is not for you to go on the streets protesting. It is not for you to go to the television criticizing. It is not for you to write in the pages of newspaper insulting your leaders. This is an opportunity for you to vent what you think will serve you better and what you think we should do for you, not only NDDC, even the state government, because it is a Niger Delta summit, not just NDDC. So our opinion should not only be directed to NDDC, our opinion should be directed to NDDC, the state government, other agencies that are serving the people of the Niger Delta, and also our political office holders who are also from the Niger Delta. Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you very much. That was the MD CEO of the Niger Delta Development Commission, reeling out his presentation on the state of the Niger Delta region. We heard him as marshaled out the action plans of the Niger Delta by the NDDC as an interventionist agency. And of course, he stressed the need for more partnership in developing the Niger Delta region. Please, let's put our hands together one more time for the MDCO, Chief Samuel Oboku, PhD. Thank you. May I invite to do this presentation his representative, Dr. Charles Achodo of the International Development Specialization. He's an international development specialist. Please, let's put our hands together for him as he steps up to do this presentation. Thank you.
Let me just stand on the existing protocol. I wouldn't want to waste too much time on this presentation. If that is acceptable, let me hear yes from the House. Thank you very much. Now, we are making a presentation on the Niger Delta strategy. The former president in the former administration mentioned that there is a need for a single development strategy that should drive the development process in the Niger Delta. That was not done throughout the lifetime of that administration, and this new administration came in under the leadership of the new MDs of NDDC and the ministry. A new strategy has been developed. In the past, we had the action plan, which somebody says is an action plan without an action. We had a master plan, which somebody funny said it's a master plan without a master. So we all laughed over some of those comments. But the key thing is that there were many plans in the region, and the government felt that there should be one single development strategy for the region where all stakeholders will buy in and begin to drive the development process. And that's one of the reasons why we're looking at this. I will take a very brief moment to basically come up and we start discussing this. There will be a breakout session in which the 7 pillars will be discussed, and that's where substantial contribution and input will be expected from all the stakeholders on this platform. Thank you very much. So the strategy basically has a clearly defined set of objectives. And the objective is clearly, or vision is clearly looking at how to basically develop the region and ensure that certain issues that is happening in the region are addressed. Somebody did mention about a conflict. Each time I hear the Niger Delta conflict, I say there is no conflict in the Niger Delta. The people are fighting nobody. Let's be honest about it. What you have in the Delta is discontent. So there is discontent associated with the environment. There is discontent associated with lack of development. There is discontent when it comes to resource allocation. There is discontent on several other issues. Now, when you understand it within that framework, what that does is that the instrument of intervention changes. But when you look at it as a conflict, the instrument and the tools you're using are instruments that are used to address conflict, and that is not acceptable. So we are looking at it in terms of discontent issues, and we laid out essentially what the focus should be. Without wasting your time, it is planned that this particular instrument will basically have a clearly defined overall objectives and clearly defined policy guidelines and a set of development strategies that will respond to the development challenges in the Niger Delta. It looked at the various plans that were in existence and asked questions as to why there were challenges in delivering development results. Some other issues were identified. Instead of focusing on projects, we build 10 schools, we build this, we build that. Let's focus on results. What are the results we intend to achieve? What are the impacts we're measuring? If I build a school or if I do an infrastructure, how many people in the health sector, how has that enhanced the health of the population we're serving? So by focusing on results, you deliver better results. But when you focus on projects, you have multiplicities of projects here and there. And that's some of the challenges we have. A series of duplications of projects and all sorts of things that happened in the Niger Delta. The idea of having a joint work planning process for the various agencies that are working there so that you harmonize your responses and ensure that you are delivering on the basis of your mandate and on the basis of clearly defined benchmarks and results, that makes much sense, as opposed to having individuals who basically come in and do anything they want to do. EU is doing a lot of programs, World Bank is doing, UNDP is doing, NDDC is doing, the states are doing, local, everybody is doing. The Niger Delta automatically becomes, if you look at this scenario, I normally tell people it's like a jazz session practice. Everybody is knocking and knocking and knocking and knocking, and you're hearing all kinds of discordant tones. But we want to move it into a symphony where you have a conductor orchestrating the development process in the region. And that's why we have this strategy. Thank you. So there will be cases of joint work planning where the work plan will become a compact between the agencies of the federal government and the people of the region. In other words, you come up and you say, these are what we're going to deliver, and the people in the region will agree with you that those things you have identified reflect our development priorities. No longer will people just bring in projects that doesn't reflect the development priorities of the people. So joint work planning process will be part of it. Joint needs assessment will be part of it. So having said that, we laid out certain policy guidelines and we looked at previous projects and previous policies or plans that were there and why the shortfalls. I don't want to call failure. I don't want to use the word failure because there are certain achievements that have been done in the past. We have to recognize them, but we need to do more. And we look at the challenges. It's in terms of policy, budget inefficiency, poor implementation coordination issues that has to do with lack of stakeholder inclusion, and issues that has to do with development contracting. In other words, you don't do development by contract. Contracts does not define your development. What defines your development outcome is the results you have achieved. So that's some of the changes we have made with regard to the new strategy. There are lessons that were learned, such as issues that has to do with leadership, issues that has to do with the culture of implementation. In fact, there is no problem in Nigeria with ideas, but there is always a problem with implementation. And because we don't have that culture of sustained implementation, then we have problems with how do we do our strategies. Joint work planning is one of the things you mentioned. Looking at the government institutions, how do you position governance institutions? They become fit for purpose. Is NDDC configured in a way that it becomes fit for purpose? Is the Ministry of Niger Delta configured in a way that it becomes fit for purpose? We need to look at the strategy, looked at some of these issues and made certain recommendations. And I thank the leadership for giving that space for that to happen. There are issues that has to do with project identifications, performance. We looked into it, and we looked in terms of how do you earmark funding for long-term projects. If you notice, most of the abandoned projects are projects that are long-term, and they require long-term funding. You use short-term source of funding, and you make a commitment for a long-term project. The result is that you have an abandoned road, you have all kinds of abandoned infrastructure that are not fully funded. So how do you begin to earmark resources to make sure we stop those kind of things from happening so that every project we have is completely done? So the vision is clear. It is to accelerate sustainable development of the Niger Delta region by promoting improvement in the well-being of the people. Well-being means investment in the people. It's not just about the infrastructure. Transforming the region to be economically prosperous. In other words, it has to look at the economic dynamics of the region and how we can grow it. If oil dries up, what is the benefit the region will say we have gotten from having oil? We said we'll look at how to make the region prosperous, how to make it politically peaceful as a precondition for development, and how to make it socially stable and, of course, ecologically regenerative. These are very heavy words, but we can unpack them during the breakout sessions. My job is just to introduce it and stimulate some thinking around the people. We laid out certain issues, certain principles, and certain visions. We broke those visions down, and during the breakout sessions, some of you who are better in this area can help us trash out some of the issues. We also went further to say, okay, let's look at the 7 pillars. Having laid the results, what are the 7 pillars and how will these 7 pillars respond to those results? Some of the results we used are tied to the SDG, which is common to all of us here. And we say, let's benchmark them and let's have regional targets on them. That's basically what we have done. So there are 7 platforms or 7 pillars on which the strategy is based on. One is economic development, and it has something to do with oil and gas, solid minerals, for which this region has, but nobody talks about it. ICT, connectivity issues, private sector financing, commerce, MEs, small enterprise development, industrialization. One of the challenges is that this region has been significantly deindustrialized. And it is the deindustrialization of the region that has created a lot of unemployment and that has created a lot of challenges we have. So we are looking at some of these issues. How do we look at regional connectivity? How do we promote regional industries? And how do we deal with agriculture, fishery, and aquaculture? All these elements, how do we get them to stimulate economic growth in the region? The next pillar is human resources and capital development, or we can call it social development, basically. It is investment made in education, health sector, water and sanitation, issues that has to do with women who are in most cases neglected in the region when we talk, youth restiveness, and of course issues that has to do with sports, creative industry. The region is endowed with all these capacities and we need to stimulate them. You look at issues that has to do with hospitality and tourism. Actually, we put it under social, but it's an economic enterprise. So all these things are linked together. The third pillar is infrastructure. How do we create the essential infrastructure that will drive development? And infrastructure is an enabler of development, and we need it, and we need to focus on it. Regional connectivities, for instance, building roads that connect all the regions, making transportation in any of the regions nothing more than 1 hour or 1 hour 30 minutes you are there to deliver. That's essentially very important element to look at. We look at power, we look at housing, we look at urban and rural planning and issues of growth hub development. How do you identify certain hubs that will form the basis of development? We're going to look at environmental issues. Environmental development is critical. The region has been so very much degraded as a result of the oil industry and other things. Flooding is an issue, erosion is an issue, coastal line is being eroded. How do we address all these issues? Security, law and order, or law and enforcement are also elements we are looked into because these are preconditions for doing development. If you don't have security, if you don't have stability, the landscape for your development action, it's very fluid, and that makes it difficult. So we don't want a situation where oil companies are saying we're relocating in Lagos. We have head office in this place. No. We want them back. And to get them back, we need to stabilize the region and make sure that it is safe. That's some of the issues. We mentioned some of the elements, and it will be discussed there. Governance is another issue. You can have a good strategy, but if your institutional governance systems and processes are weak, then you are as much as possible, you're as much as I can say, close to failure. So we need to see how to retool and reinforce the existing capacities and make them more effective in delivering development results. We're also looking at issues that has to do with financing. How do we, some people talked about money that is being owed and all those kind of things. How do we make sure that we mobilize not only additional resources, but at the same time, the existing ones that we have that are available, how do we justify and make sure that we're not owned again? And how do we plan properly? And how do we explore other sources of raising money to develop this region? The region is endowed, and the region must be developed. The region has everything that it takes to become a first-class region. It should be a region that should actually be the beacon of development in this country. And I don't see why it should be lacking. So we need to reinforce our resolve, and we need to reinforce our institutions, and we need to get our people energized, and we need to begin to get things done. We need to pull off our sleeves, and we need to work hard to deliver. This is what this strategy is all about. And during these sessions, I don't want to take time on this, we will be calling on every person here that this is an opportunity for you to make your input. Is that clear? Have I finished? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you all for your patience and time. For the breakout session, we have groups 1 to 7. Group 1 will be on economic development, which will focus on solid minerals, information and communication technology, macro, small and medium enterprises, industrialization, and agriculture. Facilitator will be Dr. Charles Achodo, the man that just left now. The group 2 will be human capital and social development, education, healthcare, water, sanitation, hygiene, women and youth, sports, tourism, culture, and hospitality. Dr. Ndubisi Nwokolo will be facilitating. Group 3, infrastructure. Component topics: transport, power, housing, urban and rural development. Ateyi Beredugu, founder Point Graph mobile app, will be facilitating. Group 4, on environmental development, waste management, erosion control, flood management, biodiversity, to be facilitated by Dr. Ferdinand Gildon. Group 5, security and order, security and law and order, oil and gas, maritime security, facilitator Inuro Wheels, former Commissioner for Environment, Bayelsa. Group 6, governance and institutions, implementation and M&E. And all the topics: improving public sector governance, professional staffing, and many more. Facilitator Stephen Onahime. And then the final group will be on component topics: funding requirements, funding sources, which is under finance, and to be facilitated by Reginald Ihebuzo, former World Bank transactions. All of these are the 7 groups, and they have allocated close to 4 to 5 hours of doing a thorough job on all the things. But while I was talking, I just looked into the audience and I saw an entrepreneur, administrator, human communication specialist, farmer, media trainer, former Commissioner of Information in the state, and the former acting managing director of NDDC, Mrs. Ibim Sementari. I recognize and I welcome you. Thank you very much. So, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we shall be rising for the national anthem, and then we'll sit back and the ushers will direct us as to how we'll go for our tea break. We'll be going from the front seat to the back seat. And so what I understand that the dignitaries will be led by the managing director, and maybe the chairman walks in now to the tea place. Traditional rulers, they say you should remain in the room. They will take you to where you take your tea. The rest of us, ushers will guide you row by row. But for now, shall we all rise for the national anthem?
Nigeria, we hail. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hang on to our children a banner without stain. Oh God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
You see, while I'm thanking the older generation for being able to sing, the younger generation, don't despair. You will learn it. Thank you very much. Thank you. On behalf of Salimé, thank you very much. And the tea, please.